My siblings emptied my house while I was in a coma after a car crash. When I woke up, I found out they'd stolen the deed to the property they're all living in. Let's make this moment special. Subscribe if you believe in stories like this and tell us your city in the comments below. The 18-wheeler came out of nowhere on I-85. One moment I was singing along to Jasmine Sullivan, the next I was spinning, metal screaming, glass exploding around me. Then nothing. Pure black nothing. I don't remember the impact. I don't remember the paramedics cutting me from the wreckage. I don't remember the 3 weeks I spent fighting for my life in Grady Memorial's ICU. What I do remember is waking up to my Aunt Patricia's tear-stained face hovering over me, whispering, "Thank you, Jesus," like a prayer she'd been repeating for days. Where am I? My voice came out like sandpaper on concrete. Baby, you're at Grady. You've been in a coma. Patricia squeezed my hand so tight it hurt. 3 weeks, Nola. We thought we lost you. 3 weeks. The words hung in the sterile hospital air like a death sentence. My mind immediately went to my house. The beautiful 4-bedroom Victorian on Cascade Road that I'd bought 2 years ago at 28. My pride and joy. My first real investment after grinding through nursing school and working double shifts at Emory. Where's Oliver and Tasha? I asked about my older siblings. Patricia's face did something strange. A flicker of anger crossed her features before she smoothed it away. They're handling things. Don't worry about that now. You need to focus on getting better. But I caught it. That hesitation. That careful tone people use when they're hiding something that'll break your heart. I just didn't know yet that my heart wasn't the only thing that would shatter. Physical therapy was brutal. Every muscle in my body screamed betrayal as I relearned to walk, to stand, to exist without machines breathing for me. The doctor said I was lucky. Fractured ribs, collapsed lung, severe concussion, but no permanent damage. Lucky felt like a joke when I couldn't shower without help. My phone had been destroyed in the crash. Patricia brought me a replacement, but when I tried to access my accounts, everything was wrong. My bank app wouldn't open. My email password didn't work. Even my social media was locked. The hospital must have given you a messed up phone, Patricia said, but she wouldn't meet my eyes. Call Oliver for me, I said. I need to talk to him about my bills. The mortgage is due in a few days. He's been handling everything, baby. Don't stress yourself. I'm not stressing. I just want to talk to my brother. Patricia's jaw tightened. He's busy right now. I'll have him call you later. Later never came. Neither did Tasha. 4 or 5 weeks of recovery, my siblings, the same ones who'd crashed at my place every other weekend, eaten my food, borrowed my car, never showed their faces. Not once. My cousin Devin finally visited on week 6. He brought Popeyes and awkward energy, avoiding eye contact as he unpacked chicken tenders like they required intense concentration. Devin, what's going on? I asked point blank. What you mean? Don't play with me. Where are Oliver and Tasha? Why won't anybody give me straight answers? He set down the food. His hands were shaking. Nola, you need to call a lawyer. Like yesterday. Devin drove me past my house 3 days after I was discharged. I'd begged him for an hour straight, promising I could handle whatever I needed to see. I couldn't handle it. My house. My beautiful house with the wraparound porch I'd spent $8,000 restoring, was completely transformed. New furniture sat on my porch. A BMW I didn't recognize was parked in my driveway. Through the front window I could see people moving around, laughing, living. Who the hell is that? My voice cracked. That's Oliver's girlfriend, Callie. And Tasha's boyfriend, Jerome. They've been staying there. Staying where? In my house. Devin's hands gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles went white. Nola, they didn't just stay there. They moved in. Completely. All of them. I felt like I was having another car accident, but this time I was wide awake for the impact. What do you mean moved in? They have their own places. Not anymore. Oliver gave up his apartment. Tasha broke her lease. They told everybody you wanted them to watch the house while you recovered. Watch it. Watch it. I was screaming now. Take me to the door. Right now. Nola, wait. Yow. Devin pulled into my driveway. I practically fell out of the car, my healing body protesting every movement as I stumbled to my own front door. I didn't have keys, they'd been lost in the crash. I pounded on the wood hard enough to rattle the frame. Oliver opened the door looking annoyed, like I was a Jehovah's Witness interrupting his Saturday. Then his face went pale. Nola. You're out of the hospital. Oliver stood in my doorway, looking at me like I was the one who didn't belong. He'd gained weight, his face fuller than I remembered. He was wearing a new gold chain I'd never seen before. Behind him I could see my grandmother's antique china cabinet, but it was nearly empty. Can I come in? I asked, voice shaking. To my own house. Now's not really a good time. He actually said that. With a straight face. Excuse me. Tasha appeared behind him, her braids freshly done in that expensive style from the salon on Peachtree that cost $300. She had the nerve to look annoyed. Girl, why didn't you call first? Tasha said. The audacity punched the air from my still healing lungs. Call first? To come to the house I own? The house I pay the mortgage on. See, this is what I'm talking about. Oliver crossed his arms. Always about what you own, what you pay for. We're family, Nola. Family shares. Shares. I pushed past him and he stepped aside, probably because Devin was right behind me, all 6'3" of him looking ready to break something. Where's my furniture? Where's Grandma's china? Where's my stuff? My living room was barely recognizable. My cream leather sofa, gone. The coffee table I'd restored myself, gone. Family photos, gone. In their place was cheap furniture from Ashley Home Store, still bearing price tags. A 75-inch TV I'd never purchased dominated one wall. Callie emerged from my kitchen eating a sandwich. My kitchen. She stopped mid-chew when she saw me. Oh shit, she mumbled. Everyone needs to leave, I said quietly. Right now. Oliver laughed. Actually laughed. This ain't just your house anymore, little sister. What did you just say? My heart was pounding so hard I thought my ribs might crack again. Oliver pulled a folded paper from his pocket, waving it like a victory flag. You were in a coma. Somebody had to make decisions. Somebody had to handle your affairs. What affairs? What are you talking about? I grabbed for the paper but he held it away. Tasha spoke up, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. We had you sign some paperwork. For your own protection. I was in a coma. You woke up a few times, Oliver said. Don't you remember? You were confused out of it. We had the lawyer come by and you signed everything. All legal. The room tilted. I grabbed the wall for support and Devin caught my arm. You're lying. That's not possible. Power of attorney, Tasha said, examining her fresh manicure. And a quitclaim deed. This house is in our names now too. Joint ownership. You should be grateful. We kept you from losing everything while you were incapacitated. Grateful. The word came out as a shriek. I never signed anything. I was unconscious. Oliver shrugged. That's not what the notary's stamp says. Lawyer witnessed everything. You got a problem, take it up with the courts. Devin pulled out his phone, already dialing. This is fraud. This is straight up fraud. It's family helping family, Callie chimed in, still holding her sandwich. Y'all black folks always taking each other to court instead of working things out. I turned on her so fast she stepped back. You don't even go here. Who are you to be in my house eating my food? Our house, Oliver corrected. And Callie's my fiancé. She lives here now. I called the police from my own driveway. Officer Jenkins arrived 20 minutes later. A middle-aged black woman with tired eyes who'd probably seen this exact scenario play out a dozen times in Atlanta's gentrifying neighborhoods. "Ma'am, this is a civil matter," she said after hearing both sides. "If your name's on the deed with theirs, I can't remove them. But I never signed anything. I was in a coma. You'll need to prove that in court. Get a lawyer." She looked at me with something like pity. "I've seen this before. Family property disputes get ugly. Document everything." Oliver stood on my porch, smirking as Officer Jenkins drove away. That smirk ignited something in me that the car crash couldn't kill. At Patricia's house that night, I called every lawyer in Atlanta who'd answer. Most wanted $5,000 retainers I didn't have. My savings account, when I finally got access, showed $247. Should have had $18,000. "Unauthorized withdrawals," the bank representative said. "Looks like someone with power of attorney cleaned it out. You'll need to dispute this with documentation." My credit cards were maxed. Someone had charged $34,000 across 4 cards. Furniture, electronics, jewelry, car repairs. My credit score had dropped 200 points. Devin helped me file police reports. Identity theft. Fraud. Forgery. The officers took statements with the enthusiasm of people filing paperwork that would go nowhere. "Family cases are tough," one cop told me. "They'll say you gave permission. Hard to prove otherwise." That night, Patricia brought out papers she'd secretly kept. My original deed, my will, medical records proving I'd been in a medically induced coma the entire time I supposedly signed documents. My aunt had known something was wrong from the start. "I tried to stop them," she whispered, crying. "But Oliver said you'd wanted this. He had papers, Nola. Official papers." I found Diane Morrison through a friend of a friend. A 50-something black woman with silver locks and a reputation for destroying fraudulent property claims. Her office in Buckhead was modest, but her presence was commanding. "They forged your signature while you were in a coma?" She didn't sound surprised, just angry. "Let me guess. Your brother claimed he was protecting your assets? How did you?" "Because I've seen this exact scam 17 times in the last 3 years. Family members take advantage of medical emergencies to steal property. The courts are finally starting to take it seriously." She spread my medical records across her desk. "You were intubated, sedated, and documented as unresponsive for 5 weeks straight. No way you signed anything. But they have notarized documents. Notaries can be bought, honey. Especially crooked ones willing to notarize blank spaces or forge dates." She pulled out her phone. "I'm calling Judge Thompson's clerk right now. We're getting an emergency hearing for fraudulent conveyance." Relief flooded through me so intensely I started crying. "I can't afford your retainer. You can afford it after we get your house back and sue everyone involved for damages. I work contingency on cases like this. They target. We have medical records proving she was completely unconscious when she supposedly signed a quitclaim deed and power of attorney." Barry White interrupted. "Your Honor, the documents are properly notarized." "With a fraudulent notary whose license was suspended," Diane shot back. "Mr. Robert White, who happens to share your last name, Barry. Any relation?" Barry's face went red. The judge's eyebrow rose. "Continue, Ms. Morrison." Diane presented everything. Medical records, the forged signatures, bank statements showing $52,000 in unauthorized withdrawals, credit card bills, Nurse Thompson's testimony. Each piece of evidence was a nail in a coffin. Oliver whispered something to his lawyer, who stood up shakily. Your Honor, my clients were acting in good faith to protect Ms. Davis's property during her incapacity. By moving in and spending her money? Judge Thompson's voice could have frozen fire. Judge Thompson removed her glasses and the courtroom went silent. That particular gesture meant someone was about to get destroyed. In 30 years on this bench, I have never seen such a brazen, cruel act of fraud, she began. Miss Davis nearly died. While she fought for her life, her own blood family didn't visit her. They were too busy forging documents and stealing her property. Oliver shifted in his seat. Tasha stared at her lap. The medical evidence is irrefutable. Ms. Davis was unconscious, intubated, and sedated during the time she allegedly signed these documents. A 3-year-old could tell these signatures are forged. She held up the papers. The notary is a known criminal. The timing is suspicious. The motive is obvious. Your Honor, Barry tried again, Your clients committed multiple felonies. Fraud, forgery, identity theft, and elder abuse statutes that protect vulnerable persons during medical incapacity. She looked directly at Oliver. Mr. Davis, you accessed your sister's accounts, stole $52,000 and maxed out 4 credit cards. That's grand theft. I was helping. Silence. The gavel cracked like thunder. You moved your girlfriend into your sister's house and sold her grandmother's heirlooms. Miss Davis, you took your sister's jewelry and clothes. You both lived like parasites while she recovered from trauma that could have killed her. Tasha started crying. I felt nothing. The quitclaim deed is void. The power of attorney is void. The property belongs solely to Nola Davis. Oliver Davis and Tasha Davis, you have 72 hours to remove yourselves and your belongings from the property. You are ordered to pay restitution of $52,000 plus $34,000 in fraudulent credit card charges, plus $15,000 in attorney fees and court costs. She wasn't finished. I'm also referring this case to the district attorney for criminal prosecution. You may face up to 20 years in prison. 72 hours later, I stood in my driveway with Devin, Patricia, 2 sheriff's deputies and a locksmith. The morning sun hit my house, making the wraparound porch glow golden. It had never looked more beautiful. Oliver opened the door before we could knock. He looked smaller somehow, diminished. You're really doing this? You did this, I corrected. Move your stuff out. Now. They'd trashed the place out of spite. Holes punched in walls I'd carefully painted. Kitchen cabinets broken. My hardwood floors scratched to hell. But the house was mine again. Callie hauled out garbage bags full of clothes, shooting me death glares. You're petty. He was trying to help you. Help himself, you mean? Where's my grandmother's china? Sold it. Oliver said it casually, like he'd mentioned the weather. Needed money for bills. Bills on my house that I was paying for? My voice rose. You sold irreplaceable family heirlooms for what? Your car payment. They were just dishes. The deputy stepped forward when Devin's fists clenched. Keep it civil, one warned. Tasha emerged last, carrying a box of her shoes. She'd been silent the entire time, but at the car she turned. I hope you're happy. You destroyed this family. No. The word came out hard and final. You destroyed it the day you decided my near death was an opportunity. You chose this. We're blood. Blood doesn't mean you get to bleed me dry. I turned my back on her. You've got 30 minutes to finish. Then the locks change. Patricia squeezed my shoulder as we watched them pack. Your mama would be proud of you, baby. Standing up for yourself. My mother had died when I was 19. breast cancer that ravaged her in 8 months. She'd worked 3 jobs to buy the house I eventually inherited. These people had tried to steal her legacy. The house was a disaster, but it was my disaster. I spent weeks scrubbing, repairing, and reclaiming every inch. Patricia and Devin helped. My nursing friends showed up with paint and pizza. Even Nurse Thompson from the hospital came by with her husband to help replace the broken cabinets. "You did the right thing," she told me while we painted the living room. "What they did to you was evil." The criminal trial was scheduled for January. The D, a stern woman named Lisa Park, promised me they'd face serious time. "We take advantage of vulnerable persons very seriously. Your case is airtight." But the real victory was smaller, more personal. I found one piece of Grandma's china at a pawn shop on Candler Road. A single teacup with tiny roses. The owner sold it to me for $20 when I explained the situation. "Your people pawned a lot of stuff here," he admitted. "I got a few more pieces in back." I recovered 4 plates, 2 teacups, and a serving platter. Not the full set, but enough. Enough to remember Sunday dinners at Grandma's house, her laugh, her hands serving sweet tea in these very cups. My credit was destroyed, my savings gone, but I was getting it back. Fully. The court-ordered restitution payments trickled in, $500 a month from Oliver, who'd gotten a job at Home Depot. Tasha paid nothing, she'd filed bankruptcy. I changed every lock, installed security cameras, and put up a new mailbox. Small acts of reclamation that felt like resurrection. One evening, sitting on my restored porch with sweet tea in Grandma's recovered cup, Patricia joined me. "How you feeling, baby?" "Tired. Angry. Free." I took a sip. "They almost took everything. But they couldn't take me." She smiled. "You're stronger than that car crash. Stronger than them." I had to be. 6 months after the judgment, I hosted Thanksgiving at my house. The first real gathering since the crash. My dining room table, bought with my first restitution check, held food made with love instead of resentment. Patricia, Devin, my nursing friends, Nurse Thompson and her family, even Diane Morrison came. People who'd shown up when it mattered. Speech. Devin called out, raising his glass. I stood, looking around at faces that had carried me through hell. "Y'all know I died for 3 minutes during surgery after the crash. Doctors brought me back. But you know what? The real resurrection was this. Standing in my house, surrounded by people who actually love me. Not what I can give them. Just me." "Amen," Patricia whispered. "Oliver and Tasha took a lot. Money, property, family heirlooms. But they gave me something too, clarity. I know exactly who's in my corner now. I know what I'm worth. And I know that blood doesn't mean you accept abuse." My phone buzzed. A text from Oliver's number. "Can we talk? I want to apologize." I deleted it without responding. Some bridges you burn completely, salt the earth and move on. The criminal trial had ended with plea deals. Oliver got 3 years probation and 500 hours community service. Tasha got 2 years probation. The notary got 5 years in prison. Barry White lost his law license. Not perfect justice, but justice nonetheless. I'd started therapy, processing the trauma, not just from the crash but from the betrayal. Dr. Williams helped me understand that grief wasn't just for death. You could grieve living people who become strangers. "You're not broken," she told me. "You're rebuilt. Stronger at the broken places." As everyone ate and laughed in my reclaimed home, I thought about that 18-wheeler, the spinning metal, the darkness. I'd survived a death machine. Surviving family was harder, but I'd done that too. My house stood strong on Cascade Road, mine again. Every payment I made was an act of defiance. Every meal I cooked was reclamation. Every night I locked my new locks was freedom. They thought they could erase me while I was unconscious. Instead, they woke a version of Nola they couldn't manipulate, couldn't steal from, couldn't break. I was done being grateful for scraps from people who saw me as an opportunity. Done shrinking to make others comfortable. Done setting myself on fire to keep family warm. The wraparound porch needed a new swing. I'd install it myself this weekend. This house, my grandmother's legacy, my mother's dream, my triumph, would stand. And so would I.